So today we'll be starting with uh, we will still working on Python, oh sorry, Pandas, and today we'll be learning about data selection and filtering. So let's go. So what we will learn today is that how to select rows and columns using Pandas and use of log and ilog effectively, apply for conditional filtering, combine multiple conditions, and extract meaningful insights from the large data sets. So basically, today you will be learning about a very like level one or level two E- EDA, exploratory data analysis. In this, first you will be learning like how to select columns or how to select the sub part of the columns that you will be requiring for your analysis. Okay, and how can you combine them with uh, other columns or other data for getting meaningful insights. What is data selection? Data selection is a process of extracting specific information that you need so as to uh, begin your analysis, or like if you want to like gain some insights uh, or so extract some meaning from it. Okay, so it is used for focusing on relevant data, reducing data size as you are selecting only a sub part of the data set, and preparing for data analysis and visualization. As I already was saying earlier, that for the data analysis and visualization, you will need to select some part of data sets and then begin some operations on them to get them meaningful insights. Okay. For example, here it is given that df name and age. Uh, it means that we have selected the two columns from some data set called which contains these columns. So earlier we were used to let me show it the code. Let's just say I have a mm, let's go for student. I'm using student for the CSV for this example. This contains this only two columns with two values. In the next examples, we will be using some large data set. Okay, where was that session 16? Yes. So to import, first of all, we need to import pandas as ed, and then we will go ed dot df so ed dot read csv, and we will just give the name of this file since it's in the same folder. If it's in any other directory or any other folder, then you will have to put in the uh, path of that related path of that folder that the file is in. Okay, students dot csv. Yeah. Okay, so it's just a small data set with two values. Hmm. Let's do one thing. Add one more column in that. Okay, df dot, let's just say marks equal to uh df dot. Let's just give it a list. Let's see what happens. Comma df. Yeah, it's fine. So it's this is an example data set for this uh, column selection. And in this, I will first of all give you something like this. If I want to just add a name column, sorry, column with name and name. So I will just use this syntax and then print the column. Okay. Now what if I want to select multiple columns at the same time? Okay. So for that, I would need to give it the list of column inside the df object. Okay, like something like this. You can as easily remember it as like df. Inside the df, I've given a list of columns. Okay, you have to use square brackets inside the square brackets. Now, if I use this, see, now I am getting two columns, and then I can do whatever I feel like with these, use however operations I want, and get some output out of it. Okay, so that's how we select the multiple columns at the same time. So next, see, as I was saying earlier, as I've shown you in the VS Code, the common ways to select the columns, like you have to select the column name inside the, give it the square brackets. Inside that, you have to select the column name in string. Okay, not just you write in column in string. So you have to use the codes. And if you select multiple columns, then you can use just give it a list of columns inside the square brackets, and you will get the specific columns that you want. As we done in earlier in this code, earlier we selected name here. To get details of single column. You can do one more thing. Suppose you have in this method, you will get the entire values of the uh, selected columns. Okay. Instead of doing this, if you want something like first five values, okay, df, let's just go with name. You can use this like you used to in uh, you used to when accessing element of the list, right? Inside the square bracket, you just give them an index. See, I gave it an index 0 of df.name column, and it will only give me the first name. Since as index 0 and in the column name, Aman is there. So it will only give me Aman. Okay. So that's how you can also access the single most element, or you have lock or iLock. We'll be learning about that, or we have already learned something about them in the previous lectures. Yeah. So we can also select rows with the lock functional or lock attribute. For example, here it is given df.log5, df.log2 is to 7, which means we will go from index to till 7. Okay. Or we can also select the rows by giving it a condition inside that uh, select rows which have age greater than 25. Okay. So log, what log does is it usually uh, selects through labels, row labels. Uh, Here are your row labels. Okay, these 0 and 1 are your row labels. Okay, you can customize them also while creating a data frame. I've already taught you in that in the previous lecture, I guess, in the section less in the session 14, I guess. Okay, so you can use these. I will use this in code. Let me show this in code. We were using students. Okay, so df log, df dot log square, right? Yeah, square brackets, and df where df dot age should be greater than, let's say, 21. Okay, so using this logic, I should get the second row. Okay, Let's see. See, uh, I use the log method to get a row in which the age of that age in that record is greater than 21. So what the result did I get? This one. Yep. There is a record which has a name Priya and age is 22. Okay. So that's how you can like give it some condition, or and you can give any condition insights, like instead of df dot age, I will give df dot marks greater than 79. Okay. See, since both of the records have the marks greater than 79, both will be there. Okay. So that's how you can like select different kind of elements. There are lots and lots of ways of doing it. It's just one of the very basic ones. So let's see what is next. Selecting rows at iLog. iLog is also same. Instead of row labels, it will give you by index positions. Okay. Index position is nothing but your just like it's when you access list, you have some indexes, no? No, it starts from zero and ends with whatever the amount of arrays in array amount of elements in this list minus one. Okay. Since you use ilog when you need positional indexing, means at which position the uh, column sorry row is in which records is there. Okay. So for that, let me take some you something larger data set as compared to this. This time I will use this hearts CSV. Okay, so pt dot read mm, hearts dot CSV. Okay, now there's one more thing. Suppose you access some large data set. Okay, this heart dot CSV is a like huge data set, and you just want to get the gist of it. Okay, like what does it contains. Okay, so you can use df. There's a function called head. Okay, what it had this function does is like it will return the first five values of the data set. So you will get the idea like what kind of values and what kind of columns and what kind of data is in this file. Okay, see. Okay, now age, sex, chest pain type, resting BP, cholesterol, fasting, BS. These are the columns, and you will basically get the gist of the data, like what kind of values are in each of the columns. Okay, so you can also like take a note of this function called head. Okay, now what was the thing that we were doing that yeah, ilog. Okay, so df dot ilog basically what does it by indexing. Since earlier I use the log function, and basically it's also running on these indexes. So basically, what is the difference between log and ilog is ilog will also run on index, but instance since the labels and index are kind of same here in these data sets, so for these examples you won't find any difference in them. So what you can do is like create some small uh, data set, and if you like get stuck anywhere, you can just watch the my previous lecture, which was session 14. In that I will give you like how to create labels also of the data set. Okay, so instead of 0 comma 1, you can give it like uh, just give some records like alpha or omega, whatever. So through that, if you try to access the records, then you will use log function. Okay. And for ilog 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is fine because basically it's an index. Okay. So when you try to practice it or practice these pandas, because these now the things that you will be practicing or learning here, you have to keep on practicing so as to you do not forget, because these things are easier to forget as compared to Python basics that we learned earlier. So ilog, what was the example? Yeah, I'll just go with the most basic one. ilog 0. Okay. What will return is that very first uh, record here. See, you can compare it here. Age 40, sex, M, chest, paint type, all these details are same. Okay. And what if I use print here, will it display the output in more elegant way? No. Okay. So this is what ilog does. Okay. Now I want, there's also one more thing in the example, df.ilog. I can also access multiple rows. Okay. Uh, let's just say 2 till 5. 2 and 5 are the index. Okay. So what will it do? It will print from, I think it will print to these three records, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Let's see. Yeah. See, it printed these 2, 3, 4 records with index. Okay. So that's how you can select the data from small subdata from a large data set. Okay. And now what I want to do, let's just say uh, like these rows, these columns also have indexes. Okay. So what I want, instead of getting all the uh, records, I want a small record which contains a single column, or yeah, single column. So let's see, I want the details of column which has an index 2. Records are still 2, 3, 4, these three records, and I want a column which has index 2. Okay, let's see which record do I get. ATA by nap, which means it will be chase by type. Okay, this record. So 0, 1, 2. Columns also start from index 0 and go till the length, which have the amount of columns you have, -1. Okay. So these how we can like use lock or ilog to select the specific records. But most of the time you will only use like uh, records by using the column names, like we learned earlier, like df.name and df.dfmarks. Most of the time you will be using these. Okay. There will be a time where we'll be using lock and ilog, but it will be very like only 2 to 3 times, nothing more than that. Okay, so let's go to the next. These how you, that's how you use lock and ilog. Okay. If you have any doubts, you can just open your mic and saying that I will stop there. Okay. So there's also uh, filtering functions in the pandas library, which is in between and the string dot contains. Okay. You can see here like examples, like how these filtering functions are used. So suppose there's a data set that we have, contains a column named department. In this, we selected records which contain ID and HR. Okay, which means if department column has a record in which there is an IT or HR, these columns will be selected. These entire data, entire records will be selected. Okay, we'll see all these in the code in just a second. Similarly, we have between. What between does it takes a numerical values and give you the records that are between the given values. Like age, if I use this in a data set which contains the column age, you will get like you will get a record which have the age between 25 and 35. Okay. We will see in the code whether it contains 25 or 35 or not. Similarly, string contains is just that if you have some name which contains an in it, it will return it. Okay. Let's see that in the code. We'll be using the with the same example that hard.csv. Here we have age, so we can just use directly between filter function. Let's see df. Let me first print the first 5 rows so we can get better understanding of it. Okay, now that this data is front of you, you can like see what kind of data each column contains. Now I'm using between function df dot age dot between. Okay. Uh, we'll be saying taking the same values 25 and 35. Let's see whether it contains 25 or 35 also. Okay. So these are the records, like there's a lot. Okay. So these are the records which contains, see, okay. So it's also include 35 and then it will should also include 25 as well. I guess there is no record which contains the age 25. Okay. So these are the records which can have the age between 25 and 35. So that's how also you can use the filtering method to according to a specific column. Okay. These filtering methods will only come in practice when you need to filter some data according to a particular column. Okay. Or if it works on multiple columns at the same time, you can also try to use that in practice just for experimentation while you are practicing these functions. It's a take it as an homework for you. Like what will happen if I take multiple column here instead of age, I take sex also here, but I think it won't work because since this only for filtering between one column. Okay, now second filtering function was where between, yeah, is in. Okay, so for that is in, we will take like, yeah, chest. We'll take for is in, we'll take the chest pain type for an example. Okay, so df chest pain type dot is in. Have I written correctly? Yeah, is in. I will give it two values here. Oh, that's why it was giving some error. Yeah, is in. Let's say value take ATA, comma ASY. Okay, let's see what happens. So what you have is you will get 669 rows. Okay, with 12 columns where either chest pain type is ATA or ASY. Okay, so that isn't means like the column we have has these values in it. Okay, so that's how you can like memorize what does isn't function do instead of just giving. Let me give a single value here. Okay, see, it will only give the value which contains this 80. Okay. We'll write it back. Let's see. Okay. Let's do one thing. Instead of, let me check whether it also matches the case or not. Okay. Earlier I gave the caps value. Okay. 80 and ASY. This time I will give the small lowercase value. Let's see whether it matches the case or not. I think it does not. I'll uh, let me check it with single column first. Okay. No. So keep that in mind. Like it also matches the case that you are trying to give. If you give that ASY just in a lowercase, but in the data set it has in the capital or uppercase, it will not give you anything. Okay. So keep that in mind. The values that you give inside the Asian filtering function should be case sensitive. See, now you have 496 rows instead of just blank values. Okay, so keep that in mind. Okay, so last function was df. I think it was string contains, right? Df dot. Okay, yeah. One more thing, if you have like filtering these kind of values where you have columns, then inside of df and the square brackets, you have to give df also, because how will it get the value of column? Like it won't be able to recognize like you while putting a condition there. Okay, like I did in is in between functions. Okay, I've also give df inside of df. Okay, so keep that in mind. df df and what, let's say I'm taking this column resting ecg. Okay, and is so dot string dot contains. Okay, in that resting eg there's a values called normal and lvh. There's I think many more stn. So I'm taking these ma from normal and trying to find it out, like how many records contains this substring ma. Okay, so let's see. Okay, the 552 rows are there, which contains these ma string in their resting eg value, which is basically normal. Okay, so that's how you can also filter out the data that you want. Okay, let's do one more thing, give some experimentation. I'm also giving here the name column name here, which I want value from. Okay, this is the like take it for example. I want to say gets records which contains which have ma string in their resting ecg column. Okay, now I want what is the age of these mm, of these records which contains ma in their resting ecg column. Okay, now I don't want the entire all the columns, I just want one column. Okay, so let's see whether it will return or not. Okay, see, you can use these filtering functions to get a single column also by just giving here the column that you want. Okay, so it will give you the values which have the age in which your resting ECG column contains string MA. Okay. I know it's sounding a little bit complicated, but that's how the real world data will be. You have to like sometimes you will get the data that is like far away from your specialty, but still you have to get the meaningful insights from this. That's how EDA work. It's not like you always get the data from your from your domain. Okay, so that's how you can like give it a column and get this value from single column. Okay, so we have practical example here. Okay, so let's do this task. Given a data set of employees, extract employees who are from IT department and more than 60,000 and under age of 35. Okay, so for that, I think we need to create some data set of employees which are from IT department earn more than 60,000. Okay, so let's create some data first because it's a very specific example. Let's say, what was the columns again? Create a dictionary. Let's create a data first. I have name. Okay, let's take random's name or Shiv and Joy Yuge, and I think four is enough. We don't need to like create a huge data set. Okay, and give it a salary column. Take the hmm. Okay, salary is done. Let's say department. Okay, uh, IT, comma, let's say HR, comma, and last two will also have IT. Okay, and let's give it some age too. Okay, mm, 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 mm. A comma 21 comma 22. Okay, this is some random data and not TF data. Okay, now DF is equal to PD dot. We will convert into a data frame using data frame column data. Let's see DF. Okay, so we have some created some data as you can see on the screen. Now what we needed to do is to find records which have salary greater than 60,000 are in IT and what was the second one? Are under age of 35. Are under age 35. Since all the columns, all the age less than 35. So you can pretty much guess every record here, but it's fine. Okay. So what we will do here, let me just, yeah, DF. Okay. First of all, we need to find the salary which is greater than 60,000. So inside DF, I will give the salary column and give it a condition that it should be 60,000. Okay. Now, but I have more than one condition here. So how will be handling this? Okay. If you have the like studied the very first lectures, there were something called operators. Okay, like and, or. Okay, so we'll be using these here. Okay, and df dot, what was that, df uh we have I-90 department. Okay, so department should be greater than, should be equal to IT. Okay, you have to give it inside the df and df dot age should be smaller than 35. Okay, let's see how, what result do we get. I think I made a error here. Type unsupported operands types for and, float, and int. Okay, so instead of using and, what will happen if I use what was the example is same. Okay, 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 okay. Okay, I get it. It was my fault. Examples were same, but see, I made an error here. What should I do? Should have done is take the all these condition inside the df. Okay, so like that's how you can give a multiple condition by using operators inside the df. So what does this, tell us, run it first. There's another error. Oh, I have to like, sorry, my fault again. Since I've already given the df inside, it's not needed. Yeah, let's see whether it runs or not. Again an error. What is the thing that I'm doing wrong? Admins equal to IT. Type error. I'm getting error different line 4 versus 1. What is it? I think that's not the issue here. Department I have IT. DF salary I have 60,000. Age I have more than 32. Sorry, 30. Okay. Now I'm practical using the same sample here. Let's use the same as given in the slide. Think there will be some issue. Okay, so that was the issue. I got it. Okay, so why was we getting an error? First of all, I made three mistakes here. Okay, so let's go on one by one. Uh, when I give these uh, all these conditions, that three conditions we had to fulfill, like should be under age 35, are in IT department, and should be greater than 660,000. Okay, it should, I should have like give it in under a DF record. Okay, which means I've inside the DF you can see like all these records are in mm, inside a DF, which means I have to use multiple condition inside DF, and then I will get the record. It will be the correct syntax. Okay, and with these operators, I have to use round parentheses so as to not confuse like 60,000 and with I'm comparing with something else, so that it should have taken the entire single value. Okay, so that's how we can just extract sub data from a small amount of data from huge data using multiple conditions. It is like practical example, like how you will be doing in real life. Okay, so what we did here is we took the salary which is greater than 60,000, and department which is IT, and age which is smaller than 35. Okay, so all these three conditions, these two records fulfill all these three conditions, Joy and Yuvik. Okay, they have salary 80,000, they are from IT department and are younger than 35 years old. Okay, so that's how you will get the real world data, and you have to filter it out. Okay, this is some basic example. When you will working in the project, or I think we will be explaining you in the next some lectures in the future. Like there can be a huge amount of records, and you will need to figure out like the two, three records, or like a very small amount of data. Like take 15,000 records, and you will need just 10 to get the insights, or the all the 10 satisfy the criteria that you want. So how can you access them? Okay, so Pandas is a very powerful library. You can like do multiple operations in a single line, as we saw it here. Okay, so you need to practice all these things that we learned here today, so as to get your grasp, like how Pandas work, and how uh, you can work on any kind of data, because Pandas is a very powerful library and very important one for data analysis. Okay, so that's what you will get as a result. Okay, so next, so okay, you have assignment. So I think we have reached the end here. So you have to take any data set, a small CSV file, and these kind of data sets, if you don't know, you can find let me show you here. There's a site called Kaggle. I don't know if you heard of it or not. There's a site called Kaggle. You can find any kind of data sets from here. Okay, any CSV file, small records, you can find it here, find it from here. Okay, these contain various kind of data sets. Okay, and select any three columns from that data set, and filters using a filter functions at least any three conditions. Like you have to first study the data and come out with three conditions that you think that can give a powerful insight into that data set. Use all these functions that we learned in the lecture today, and print the final filter results. So basically you have to create a notebook file that we were working on, like this, and use all these functions that we studied in this lecture, and then submit that file. Okay, so this is your assignment for this lecture. So any doubts up till now, or anything you want me to repeat?
No, sir.
Okay, So if you have any doubts, if not, then we can end this lecture. Thank you.